Mr. Wach, thank you so much for this interview. You paid a fact-finding visit to Chișinău and Comrade in May 2015, and it was the first visit after the parliamentary elections on 30th November 2014. Your visit in May occurred while the Moldovan authorities were struggling with the $1 billion bank scandal. Since then, the Moldovan took the streets. I'm sure that you are aware of this, and an estimated 20,000 anti-corruption protesters held another large rally last weekend only. As Parliamentary Assembly's long-standing rapporteur with respect to Moldova, share with us, Mr. Wach, your analysis regarding what's happening right now in Chișinău and in Moldova as a country.
They have difficult situation all the time. It was the case after the elections, and in fact the government was functioning with the, let's say, ad hoc support of the communists. Now they have a little bit more stable after resignation of Prime Minister Gaburici. More stable situation, but very weak, because they have majority 51, as I remember well, so it is minimum, and the government is in fact really weak, the coalition. And the problem is with these protests is that this scandal was evolving slowly. We already mentioned the problems in the banking system of Moldova in our previous reports. We weren't aware precisely what is the matter. We didn't dig it deeply at that time, but
you had indicated.
Yes.
Indications.
Yes, but we weren't aware that it was a kind of a pyramid, financial pyramid, in a way, which was because of the probably electoral problems and keeping the face of the government, was supported by loans from the governmental side to the national bank. So I think politicians were well aware, but there was no enough courage and what is more important, they don't have enough strong state institutions to uncover and to dig and to present it to the public. But they couldn't hide it very long because the amount of money involved was very large for any country, but for Moldova it is more than 10% of GDP. And there was involved also the social bank, so the people were afraid about their pensions, etc., and it gave very good ground for protests. These protests are justified, but of course they are supported. We don't know exactly by whom, but the social support is, I would say, original, and it is based on the problems of the country. Who is behind? For me, it is sure that it is not completely spontaneous. It's easy to mobilize people, but somebody has to, let's say, to propose, to set the dates, and as far as I know, there is also a tent city, so it's ongoing demonstration. On the other side, as you said, there is a parallel demonstration by the Socialist Party of Mr. Dodon. What is behind that? Is that so that Socialist Party wants to win more support, or maybe the Socialist Party wants to avoid the accusations that they are behind these big demonstrations, these earlier demonstrations which started already late in the spring this year? It's quite possible. It's quite possible that some political parties, especially socialists, could be suspected to do so, are supporting both. But To be honest, to a large degree, the government deserves this because of the lack of action and lack of strong, independent investigation which will disclose the situation and to try honestly to recover, if possible, some of this money.
Mr. Wach, only the government, or it's also the responsibility of the parliament or other institutions, not only the government?
Not only the government, you are quite right. But this is a small country, small also in the sense of a number of active politicians. So they are intertwined. Even, I think, the people ruling and also opposition. It seems to me, I can be wrong, but it seems to me that the early elections, next early elections, shouldn't be profitable for any parties except maybe socialists. So, in these demonstrations, we don't hear strong voices to dissolve the parliament, but it is directed more to the president.
Resignation of the president. What would solve this?
And formally, it could be, because there is the National Council, Security Council. So, in a way, President should have acted, seeing, let's say, inability of the Parliament of action. But the position of the President is weak in the country. And for that reason, I think the President didn't have enough influence and enough strength to do anything but only formal steps. And on the other hand, I would also say that resignation of the President didn't give anything for the country, because still the elections are coming shortly in 1 year, and the system didn't change, and the next deadlock, which last time lasted more than 2 years, 2.5 years, to elect president by the parliament with the required majority of 2/3, is in the air, is coming. I don't see only a very clever agreement involving Communist Party could avoid the problem with election of the president.
So early election is not a solution in your view?
And is not a... I don't know if it finally didn't end up with that. But I think that early elections could be possibly better solution than resignation of the president, because resignation of a president is only symbolic gesture, and the problems with the electing the presidents is coming. It's coming in a shorter or longer time, because the constitution was not amended. We strongly advised to change, to introduce changing in the system of electing a president. It means the constitutional system, and anything could be better. Let's say even the election by the parliament, but with diminishing required quantity of votes if the previous attempts fail. So now the next deadlock is coming, and the country is in a difficult position, also financial, because with this financial scandal and not the original deep and independent investigation going on, IMF is not going to
sign another agreement.
Yeah.
My last question, Mr. Wach, and it's about Mrs. Gagauzian Bashkan, who has been invited to Paris to the Parliamentary Standing Committee. Share with us what will be the topic of the discussions with the Standing Committee.
I think that the Gagauzian Bashkan and Gagauzian local parliament have a number of issues. And the first and most fundamental is inconsistency between the law, special law on Gagauzia, and the laws which are voted in Moldovan parliament. And there is a number of things unclear. Of course, in Gagauzia, they want to gain as much as possible, and Chișinău is restrictive. They don't like it so much. So it is necessary first the dialogue, then a number of amendments in the law which will make possible this cooperation and this existence of the autonomic Republic of Gagauzia smooth. It is also a poor part of the country, and in Moldova, in Chișinău, they say that they put a lot of money, a lot of effort to, let's say, revive economy, to give chances. But it's not satisfactory until now for Gagauzian people. And the third issue, which probably will not be discussed there, but it is, let's say, the position of Autonomic Republic of Gagauzia in the possible future finding a resolution for the Transnistria problem. In any case, it seems they do not agree if their position and their law was less autonomous than in possible solution for Transnistria. So they have that in mind, that if there is something finally found by the 5+2 talks, some kind of finding autonomous also regime for Transnistria, the Gagauzian law and Gagauzian position should be at least equal.
Mr. Wach, thank you so much for this interview.
Thank you. Thank you very much.